Hi, this is Paul again, and I've got another new video to show you, and I'm calling this the amazing quad step helical order. In the last couple of years, I've shown that I was getting some amazing results with the system I call quad step. Now if you look in front, I'm showing you an animation of a quad step string, and the string is going from a 15-sided polygon all the way down to a 3-sided polygon. Now you can see that the string is 5 colored balls, and it reduces to the red ball all the time, to the size of the polygon. Now you can see as the larger diameter is reduced in size, the ring is not broken, it's just overlapping or it's turned into a spiral. There is only one problem with this helical system. It's not chaos. So the university professors show no interest whatsoever, and they reject it from being published in science magazines. But I do get a couple of dedicated subscribers to my discoveries. Okay, let's take a look at this quad step string. And I'm going to show you a clip from one of my videos. Now this clip shows two 12-ball helical rings. Now the top and bottom rings are all connected in a string. Now if you look at the top string, the triangle is sloping, but in the bottom string the triangle is perfect. Now the reason the bottom string is better than the top is because the string is made up into groups of 5. Now each group of 5 is in a hierarchy, and each group is linked together on 2 red balls. So the whole string is one long hierarchy. Well, I guess this makes a lot of sense to some people, because some show that DNA is one long string. I showed in my earlier videos that these long strings can be turned into different spirals by the slope angle. The slope angle is very important. Now in front, I'm showing you the slope angle of a dodeca, which I call a Yucatan slope, and you can see it spiraling around the icosa. I showed in my earlier videos that the physical size of the icosa and dodeca are different. The icosa is a little bit smaller than the dodeca, and I showed this in my earlier videos. But I guess any of my discoveries on 3D geometry is absolutely useless to the intellectuals who look at everything in 2-dimensional equations. They like to look at flat tiles for floor tiles and stuff like that. Anything 2-dimension is a big hit with intellectuals. And any video on 2-dimension gets about 1 million hits. But my videos on 3-dimension gets half a dozen viewers. Anyways, let's get back to quad step. I've got something else to show you. Okay, in front I'm showing you the very basics of quad step. Now if you look at the string of balls, we have red, yellow, purple, cyan, red. Now this is 5 balls with 4 gaps in between. Now I'm also showing 5 rings, and there are 4 gaps in between the 5 rings. So this is a quad step arrangement also. Now look what happens when I make a string of them 5 rings. You can see that she's forming the helical form of A-type DNA. Now if you want more information on this, it's best to look at my videos on A-type DNA. Okay, let's take a look at B-type DNA. It's going to be very similar. Now B-type DNA can also go in groups of 5 rings and keep on going. Now if you study the geometry of B-type DNA, a 5-ring group produces 144 degrees. Now, when I was doing research on quad step strings, the 288 was coming up as a constant. This is where it all came from. I guess it took a little bit of time to sink in. But I guess the difference between this system is that there's no need to use pi. But I guess phi is very important. Okay, so that's A DNA and B DNA. I think I'd better show you Z DNA as well. Now you can see that the Z DNA is a lot different. It shows 5 rings, but the rings have got dual gaps. That's why it's called Z DNA. Now if you watch this anim, you can see that the Z DNA helical form is 120 degrees about. It is also different to B DNA and A DNA, which is positive going. This is the opposite. This is negative flowing. I think by what I've been showing you about the 5-ring system, it's very important for helical order. I'm going to show you one more thing about the B DNA, how it turns into nucleosomes using the 5-ring system. I showed this animation a couple of years ago, but I guess it was given the cold shoulder. But what I'm showing here is 3D reality. This is not a theory, but I guess some of the two-dimensional theories are far more superior than 3D reality because they come from very important people. And I guess these important people can suppress knowledge so that they can stay important. Anyways, on the subject of the golden ratio, phi, I've got some other stuff to show you. Now in front, I'm showing you an animation I put together. And I'm showing the quad step string rotating 137.5 divided by 2. Now nobody's divided this by 2, but these are the results I was getting. It's amazing results. Now this is another discovery that was given the cold shoulder by the important people. Okay, I'm showing in front what I call a phi synco. Now look what happens when I make 5 copies of this 5 synco and rotate them 72 degrees. Now you can see in front that the quad step arrangement is being arranged perfectly in a sequence. Okay, we'll go back to the synco again and we'll make 4 copies, this time at 90 degrees. Now look at the results. We have an amazing quad step arrangement and the colors are all separate going around. It's amazing. But what's amazing is that these intellectual smucks are trying to remove this from the face of the earth. Let's take a look at the 6 array, 6 copies at 60 degrees. Now this is producing another amazing piece of geometry. And you can see the quad step sequence is coming out perfect. Okay, take a look at the 7 array. This is different. And I got one more to show you. This is a 120 degree array. And this is very similar to the sunflower seeds. Okay, I think I've showed enough of the quad step system to show that is a very important discovery. Okay, let's take a look at the pine cone quad step rings. Now if you look at the geometric structure of the pine cone, I'm using 32 ball rings. Now the diameter varies to the shape of the pine cone, but look at the helical form. It's picking up the red balls in both directions. And that shows exactly the same as the geometry of the pine cone. Okay, now I'm going to show you the geometry of the pineapple. And this is using 40 ball rings in this one. Now notice that the whole arrangement of geometry is made up of hexagons and it's picking up different colored balls of the 40 ball rings. I showed the 200 seed pattern of the strawberry also. They're in my earlier videos. Okay, now I'm going to show you where this type of geometry comes from. I'm calling it the 5-ring geometry. Now you can see in front that a complete turn is made up of 3 stacks of 5. The helical form can go in the opposite direction also. Let's take a look. I'm calling this 3-5 helical form. 3 times 5 rings. Now what's amazing about this 5 is that we can get a second helical form. Now to make a complete 360-degree helix, it takes 12 5-ring arrangements. Now this helical arrangement can go in the opposite direction. Let's take a look. Okay, I think I've made it plain to see that the helical flow can go in 2 directions. And this is similar to the sunflower seeds. You see these 2 directions. I think this video makes it clear that the quad step system is very important for helical order. So I think I'm going to call it a day now. And I think I've showed you enough helical order for those that think order is better than chaos. So this is Paul saying thank you very much for watching my video.